Today, we're going to explore 10 clues to the future of God of War. Since the end of God of War Ragnarok, the future of the franchise seems a little uncertain. Kratos' current situation and the conclusion of the Norse saga in just 2 games has left us with many questions. Even with the Valhalla DLC, which concluded Kratos' arc, we still don't have many clues about the future of the series. So what can we expect next? I believe that at least 5 of these theories have a good chance of coming true in the next game. So without further ado, let's get to the video. As we saw at the end of God of War Ragnarok and in the Valhalla DLC, Kratos has resolved his internal conflicts and accepted Freya's proposal to become the new Norse god of war. This suggests that Kratos will play a significant role in the region's political and mythological issues. Unlike in Greek mythology, where Kratos was more impulsive, he will now have to take on a more diplomatic role, trying to avoid wars whenever possible. With Kratos taking on this new role, we can expect him to be of great importance in Norse mythology from now on. He will have an influence on the political and social issues of the kingdoms, something he didn't have in Greek mythology, where he was more focused on revenge and destruction. Now, Kratos will be able to act in a more strategic and pacifying way, which will certainly bring a new dynamic to the franchise. In addition, Kratos' acceptance as the Norse god of war opens up the possibility of him interacting more deeply with other characters and gods from mythology. This new position may also lead him to form unexpected alliances and enemies, providing fertile ground for new stories and conflicts. Freya plans to form a council with Durlin, Sif, Hildisvíni, Bygvir, and others, creating an alliance between all the races of Norse mythology, including dwarves, Vanir, Aesir, and elves. With a strong and united council, it is unlikely that any major internal threats will arise. It's not clear, for example, what position Freya will hold, but there is speculation that she could become an Odin-like figure, assuming a leadership position. Mimir, meanwhile, could return to his original role as advisor, guiding the council members with his vast wisdom. With Kratos now the Norse god of war, he will also play a crucial role within this council, influencing important decisions and helping to maintain peace between the kingdoms. This dynamic adds a new layer of complexity to the story, exploring not only the epic battles, but also the political intrigues and relationships between the characters. Is Saint Monica thinking of turning God of War into an RPG or even a Souls-like game? One of the clearest clues at the end of God of War Ragnarok is Atreus' search for the giants. These giants, as mentioned in the game, are not in any of the 8 known kingdoms, which indicates that they are in other mythologies. This perfect hook could be the starting point for the continuation of the saga. Although many fans like me don't want a solo Atreus game, it's likely that he and Kratos will share the spotlight again in the next game. Atreus' presence in another mythology could cause some conflict, or even result in his capture, leading Kratos to rescue him and bring the trouble to this new mythology. Atreus' search for the giants may reveal hidden secrets about his own heritage and destiny. Norse mythology is rich in stories about giants, and bringing these stories to light can add depth and complexity to Atreus' journey. He may discover new abilities, form unexpected alliances, and face challenges that will test his courage and wisdom. Many gods from the original Norse mythology were left out of God of War Ragnarok, which disappointed some fans. Among the most relevant gods who didn't appear were Vidar, Hoder, Vili, and Ve. In the case of Vili and Ve, who are Odin's brothers, they were even mentioned in murals, which confirms their existence in the game's universe. However, for some reason, they were not included in the main plot. Following this line of reasoning, some people theorize that these gods could be traveling through other mythologies or trapped somewhere else during the events of Ragnarok. This would open up an opportunity to introduce more Norse gods, even after Odin's defeat. Vidar, for example, is the god of vengeance and responsible for avenging Odin's death during Ragnarok. There is scope for him to appear in the future as long as the developers decide to include him in the narrative. The goddess Hel, daughter of Loki in mythology, has also been left out of the game. In the God of War universe, Hel is a position held by the ruler of Helheim, but that doesn't stop the mythology from being adapted to include the character in a more meaningful way. They could easily adapt Hel as the daughter of Odin or any other being, offering a new antagonist or ally for Kratos and Atreus. As many fans had already theorized, the Valhalla DLC has confirmed that Greece has indeed been rebuilt. This revelation came from the mouth of Tyr himself, indicating that the developers may have plans to revisit Greek mythology in the future of the franchise. With Greece rebuilt, there are countless possibilities for exploring new stories and characters. We can assume that if Greece has been rebuilt, some god must be ruling there again. This god could be one of those who escaped Kratos' wrath, such as Apollo or Artemis. Imagine the possibility of Kratos returning to his homeland for some crucial reason, perhaps in search of answers or on a mission to help Atreus. The idea of revisiting Kratos' past and seeing how he deals with the consequences of his actions in Greece is extremely appealing. Another intriguing possibility is that Atreus, on his journey through the mythologies, could pass through Greece and become involved in his own conflicts. He could find allies or enemies among the Greek gods, learning more about his father's past and his divine heritage. Atreus' journey to Greece could be an important point of connection between the different mythologies, showing how interconnected the God of War universe is. The best deals for your favorite console and PC games can be found at Instant Gaming. Don't waste time, click on the link in the description and enjoy. One of the biggest expectations of God of War fans is what the next mythology explored in the franchise will be. After the conclusion of the Norse saga, there are several possible directions for Kratos and Atreus. Egyptian mythology is the most requested by fans and has been mentioned several times in the games, making it a strong candidate. In addition to Egyptian, other mythologies such as Japanese, Celtic, Mayan, Roman, Aztec, and Arabic are also mentioned as possibilities. Celtic mythology, for example, has already been referenced through the character Mimir, who came from that culture. The introduction of Celtic mythology could bring new gods and magical creatures, adding a new layer of mystery and adventure. Japanese mythology, with its unique gods and legends, also offers fertile ground for new stories and epic battles. With so many options available, it's hard to predict exactly which mythology will be chosen. However, Egyptian seems to be the most popular and the one most cited by developers and fans. Egyptian culture, with its iconic gods such as Ra, Isis, and Osiris, and its stories of the afterlife and ancient mysteries, could provide a rich and fascinating setting for the next adventures of Kratos and Atreus. During the finale of God of War Ragnarok, one of the intriguing details was Mimir's comment about the future ruler of Hell. Mimir mentions that the ruler of Hell is planning to retire from office. This raises a lot of questions and speculation about who will take up this position and the impact this will have on the God of War universe. Helheim, which is one of the darkest and most important kingdoms in Norse mythology and in the God of War universe, will need a new leader to maintain order and ensure that the balance between life and death continues to be maintained. The choice of Hell's new ruler could profoundly influence the future narrative, especially if we take into account the character and motivations of the possible candidates. During the Valhalla DLC, one of the interesting points is the trajectory of Trude, Thor's daughter, and her desire to become a Valkyrie. After the final event, where she is seen going to the Valkyries to seek admission, and their refusal, the scene is left open as to Trude's future role. Trude's entry into the ranks of the Valkyries could introduce a new element of dynamism into the group. Her interaction with the other Valkyries, especially considering her initial rejection and her strong connection with Kratos and Atreus, could bring new complexities to the Valkyries' dynamics and future events. One of the big reveals of God of War Ragnarok was the real Tyr, who appeared at the end of the game and also in additional detail in the Valhalla DLC. During the game, Tyr is presented in a different way than expected, especially with his involvement in important events. The real Tyr, contrary to what many imagined, was not the war god of the Norse pantheon, but a character with his own complex history. At the end of God of War Ragnarok, it is revealed that the real Tyr is more than just a forgotten god. He plays a crucial role, and his presence is more of a revelation than a continuous presence in the story. One of the great mysteries that remain in the God of War universe after Ragnarok is the role of the mask and the rift. These two elements are presented as a fundamental part of the plot, but their true implications are still shrouded in mystery. The mask is a crucial item in the story of God of War Ragnarok. It is revealed as a powerful artifact that has the ability to reveal secrets and hidden truths about the universe. Odin himself believed that by combining the mask with the rift, he could gain profound knowledge about the cosmos, including what existed before life and what would come after death. The closing of the rift and the destruction of the mask raise a number of questions about how these elements will be dealt with in future games. It's possible that the rift and the mask could be revisited, perhaps in new forms or for new purposes. The developers could explore the rift in a way that reveals more about the origins of the God of War universe, or introduce new threats that may arise from the lack of these artifacts. The death of Kratos. Many fans of the saga are still not prepared for this moment, however. Sooner or later, we will all have to deal with the end of the ancient ghost of Sparta. It may be in an upcoming franchise or in a farewell DLC of honor. The sure thing is that Saint Monica has already given some signs of this during God of War Ragnarok. From beginning to end, it is referred to in the game, and many think that it referred to the prophecy of God of War. Well, I thought so too until the Nines of God of War Ragnarok said that phrase.
You will die, Kratos of Sparta.
And guys, they weren't referring to the prophecy of the mural. For me, they are just a message from the studio warning us that soon Kratos will be retired. Will this be good for the franchise or not? Well, only time will tell. Just as they are taking the risk of starting a new franchise in a radically different style to the Greek saga, they could also drastically change the direction of the franchise. Now tell me in the comments, which of these clues do you think will come true in the future of God of War? I want to know what you think. Thanks to everyone for the like at the beginning of the video and for your trust and audience. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to activate the notification bell so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. I'll leave a video recommendation for you. I'm waiting for you in the next video, and thanks for watching, my friends.